Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and distinction that I introduce to you the queen of all media, Wendy Williams.
Not the drum roll and the bomb drop. Oh my God. I am not worthy. Thank you everybody for being here today. Man, I gotta tell you something. Boy, did I have a crappy weekend. You know, first and foremost, I must shout out to all of the wonderful people of Columbia, South Carolina. You know, I was going down there to host an album release party on Friday. We sat in LaGuardia Airport. The plane got pushed back 4 times before finally the plane wasn't going to get in until like 2 o'clock in the morning, and that was to D.C. And there was no connecting flight to go to South Carolina. So I left the airport in LaGuardia in New York in tears. So shout out to all the good people of Columbia, South Carolina. The whole town was getting their hair done and, you know, cars washed up. And I appreciate that, you all. And damn it, you know I'm a woman of my word and I was on my way. So I'll be down there on Friday. And doggone it, I got a flight that leaves first thing Friday morning. Excuse me while I celebrate. Thank you. Whatever, world. Wow. Let me stick my nasty finger in here and take these bubbles down. Fill this up a little bit more. Mother is here. And Mother has lived. And I'm glad to be alive. Thank you, Mommy. Anyway, I will be in Columbia, South Carolina on Friday. And I'm getting there first thing in the morning, like 9 o'clock in the morning, and doggone it, I'm going to be stalking that town. You are going to see so much of me. You're going to be like, if she never comes back, we'll be happy. And we're going to cap everything off with a gigantic party on Friday night. Doggone it. The weather, Mother Nature, I don't know what she was doing, because it was sunny here in New York. But the terminal was a mess. The flights were getting canceled, and I was just disgusted. Well, you know, I'm going to make it up to you. Friday, I will be there. Shout out to Chris Connor. Have my map of stuff ready, because I'm not getting a hotel room. There is no time to rest and luxuriate. By the way, I'll be using your office to change into my party clothes, though, for Friday night. Thank you. Shout out to Venom. It's my girl down there. Yeah, so Bernard Hopkins lost. He was robbed, and that's the way that was. And then, because Bernard, and shout out to everybody, there were so many people out there, out in Vegas from Philly, because, you know, I was supposed to go from South Carolina. I was going right out to Vegas. No, I didn't dress like any damn Pearl Bailey at ringside. I dressed in jeans, because I wanted to jump up and down. Jeans and big hair and, you know, drag queen shoes. You know my luck. You know, shout out to Joe Jeans. I had you ready. You were on my behind. And then they robbed Bernard, and then it just seems like the whole Philly clique took a turn for the deep blue funk, and then nobody wanted to party. So, you know. I mean, you know, it was what it was. I didn't get back from Vegas until 4 o'clock this morning. I wanted to sleep so badly, but, you know, when I'm away, I feel bad enough about being a working mother. Is that you too? Do you ever feel bad about being a working mother? You know? So I felt bad enough about being a working mother and not, you know, being around all weekend and stuff like that. So, you know, I was up at 7 o'clock in the morning, even though the flight landed at 4 at JFK, and I didn't get into bed until, you know, like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was up, you know, took him to school with the chipper face and all like that, because I promised God, you know, when I had him, that I wouldn't wake up, you know, like with the feeling of wanting to strike him. There are times that I want to strike him, and I do. But it's not first thing in the morning to send him off to school. I made a promise, you know. And so I took him to school and, you know, came into work. Then I got some really good news, and, you know, that third book is going to be a heat-seeking missile, boy. Had a little meeting this morning. I'm not going to do much talking. Summer 06 is going to be a mother father, though. Then winter 06, too. Working hard. So, everyone, how are you doing today? How was your week? Jonathan Plummer's coming in today. The scorned, soon-to-be ex-husband of the author Terry McMillan. And I must say, Jonathan is coming in with a lot of reservations. I believe he's coming with his attorney, but Jonathan has reservations, like I'm going to be bashing him or something like that. We just get to the bottom of things, and I'm always on the wife's side usually, except I'm like on a fence right here, more leaning towards Jonathan. Excuse me, Jamie? This is why, Jamie. I am in the peer group of Terry when she married Jonathan. Do you understand? There is nothing in terms of sexuality or drug abuse that a 20-year-old could pull over on me. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, I understand. Can you picture a 20-year-old man entering my life and keeping a drug habit a secret? No. Could you picture him coming into my life, keeping sexuality a secret? No. Hey, a lot of secrets can be kept. I'm not the smartest broad, and every day is a learning experience for all of us. We should not stop learning until we die. However, there are two things that I pretty much feel solid about. Now, she was 41 when she married him. Now, I am in that peer group, and there is nothing in terms of sexuality or a drug habit, and I've never had an E-pill. But hell, I got interns, and you all have friends with E. You know what I'm saying? I have my go-to people. Yeah, I mean, mother has lived, but there, some of these new, like I don't know what somebody acts like when they're sipping on some scissor. I feel a little antiquated in terms of that, But still, you couldn't pull it over on me, nor could you pull over sexuality, especially when you're coming straight from the catwalk into my arms. That's why, Jamie. Do you understand? Do I seem angry? No, I don't know. No. Everybody calm down then. Kayla, that's you, right? I remembered your name. Kayla gave me a bottle of Hennessy. I haven't even opened it yet, but it's one of those bum bottles. This is like a bottle of Hennessy that a bum buys. What do you call this in a man's world? What is this, a fifth? Is this a fifth? This is a fifth of Hennessy. This is like I literally put it in the pocket of my jeans and sip on it when I get nervous. This will be done before the end of the show. All right. Anyway, I am glad to be here with you good people. Now, there was an R&B singer, and I just want to explain this to you very carefully because in our next break, the drama begins to unfold. All right, so call all of your friends, email somebody, and tell Patricia Ship that we've got another one. She's my friend who works at the National Enquirer. Patricia, Michael Musto, all y'all. Shout out to the WAG community. Listen, he's a C-list R&B singer, but with an A-list story for our business. She called me last week with penis intact, but living as like a woman for 5 years, a lover to a B- C-list R&B singer. Mind you, he rings bells these days at older skewed urban stations and light stations like the local light FMs in everybody's town. His music is beautiful. Ladies still throw panties on the stage to him. He would be akin to Gerald Levert. No, I am not talking about Gerald Levert. In other words, an artist who's sexy and will have longevity. He's not hotter than a firecracker, but longevity. Do you understand what I'm saying? But, honey, he's got this pre-op transsexual girlfriend who he proposed, cut off your penis and I'll marry you. Live as a total woman. Wow. Well, she's been living as a woman in a condo that he has been financing for the last 5 years. And she is now up against the wall. He's cut off your penis. And she called me last week, and I said, don't do it if that's not you. But what you need to do is stack your dough and get the hell out. Not just out of the condo, but in my opinion, out of Dodge. Well, Conversation with Nicole. That's her name. Conversation with Nicole in the next break. So the fax machine is open, though, at 866-GET-WENDY. It's 866-GET-WENDY. Boy, I feel charged today. Yes, indeed. Mother has lived to tell the story another year. It is what it is. Keep it here, everybody. Thank you.
Wendy, man.
I met up with this guy. We were together. We were at his house. And why do you think his thing wouldn't work? Do you think maybe he's...
How you doing? The Wendy Williams Experience.
If you missed BLS Sunset Cruise 2, you missed what everybody else on board will be talking about.
Man, this is great.
This was like the perfect place to be.
Music. Cruise was great.
I love it.
BLS. The cruise was off the hook.
Now 107.5 WBLS heads uptown to Grant's Tomb, West 122nd Street and Riverside Drive for Unity Day, Sunday, July 31st, in celebration of Harlem Week. Join WBLS on the main stage with a live performance by Lenny Williams. Then it's gospel celebration at 4 p.m. as we celebrate Mary, Mary, and more. At 6 p.m., BLS rolls out a free concert under the stars with Freddie Jackson, Melissa Morgan, Layla Hathaway, along with a tribute to Luther. It's a full day of family fun. Sunday, July 31st. It's Unity Day in Harlem with 107.5 WBLS.
This segment is brought to you by Home Health Aid Training Center.
Hi, people. It's me, Wendy Williams, for LA Weight Loss. They've been in business since 1989. I've been a fatty since the beginning of time. Well, look, I discovered LA Weight Loss a little over a year ago. I lost over 15 pounds and have managed to keep it off. I'm no longer on the program because I've reached my goal. I've done the maintenance, but I love sharing my success story with anyone who will listen and spreading the good word about LA Weight Loss. Listen, they have centers in over 650 locations worldwide. LA Weight Loss combines real food with one-on-one counseling. Oh, my counselor's name is Diane. She's wonderful. You'll get one too. The result of LA Weight Loss? Well, millions of people have lost millions of pounds faster, easier, and safer. Feel better. Look better. Be healthier. Discover why thousands of physicians recommend LA Weight Loss program for their clients. Call 1-800-448-TRIM. No pills, no gym, no prepackaged food. Call LA Weight Loss. They're fabulous. 1-800-448-TRIM. 1-800-448-TRIM. Thank you, LA Weight Loss. Nicole?
Hi.
Hi. I'm so glad to be talking with you.
You too.
Okay, so it's been approximately a week since we discovered each other.
Yes, it is.
And, when you first got in contact, you were in turmoil about whether to keep your penis or not.
Right.
And my suggestion to you was absolutely keep your penis. There's no part of you that wanted to cut it off. But you'd been involved with this relationship with the R&B singer for 5 years. And what I suggested to you is that you take your about $24,000 you said you have saved up.
Right.
And you get yourself a studio apartment, move out of the condo, and leave that life behind you. Live your life as a woman with your penis and go on about you. So now, what's developed since then?
Since then, I'm still in Chicago, but I did move on this past Saturday.
Good.
I was out by Sunday, so that was a big change. And I have my own place now.
Very nice.
And I have not had contact with him since, I would say, Thursday. He made contact with me via a personal friend.
Oh.
And, I just hung up the phone. I didn't really have time to hear it. I was focused on one thing. I did it, and I'm here now.
Now, you and I spoke maybe Wednesday, so did by any chance this contact have to do with him maybe thinking that you and I were in contact with each other?
That may be the case, or it may be that a few of my personal friends aren't really friends at all and told him that I was, contemplating doing this.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah. And I'd like to put another person out there, because I thought I had a friendship with him. I'm not going to say his name, but it's very obvious who he is. He's the king in Chicago in the music industry.
I understand.
And I met my former lover through him because they're friends. Mm-hmm. And
you said they play basketball together, among other things.
Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. And I once I did this, and once word got to my lover, this this quote unquote friend of mine, who's also his friend,
the king of R&B.
Exactly. He, had a problem with me and cut me off and gave me shade. So I don't understand what that's all about. But, you know, their little secret society is going to be put on blast. It's not going to be by me, but eventually the world will see what's going on, and so will their wives.
Well, your lover is divorced now.
Yes, he is.
And so, do you think he's trying to get back with you, or you think he's just trying to squelch this situation, or just give you a backhand across the room, like allegedly he used to do to his wife?
You know what? I really think that, okay, first of all, what's fishy to me is I've never been contacted by his personal, you know, anyone else. He contacts me. He calls me. He does not call me private. I know all of his numbers. So for him to have someone else to call me with a block number, it really set me off. So I think that he is angry, and he's trying to, you know, get to me mentally, hopefully not physically, but I know he is mentally trying to get to me.
Well, do you think that Chicago is the best place for you to be? I mean, considering, Nicole, how old are you approximately?
I am 29. I'll be 30 in August.
That's right. And you were with the R&B singer for about 5 years.
Yes.
So really, to establish yourself as a full-blown woman and to get back in the workplace and support yourself, maybe you should think about relocating cities.
You know what? I was thinking about that, and eventually I will, because like I said, I have a degree to fall back on. I'm not totally dependent on another person. That's not how I have to live my life. It's just the way I became accustomed to. But as of now, I have no problem staying in Chicago. You know, these people aren't going to run me out. I'm here to stay for now.
Do you have some decent friends who will at least have your back?
I do.
Are you living by yourself now?
Yes.
Are you looking for employment?
I have been sending out resumes. I have.
Yeah. I got your picture, by the way.
Yeah, which was not, obviously, it didn't go through. It was a fax, so it wasn't the best picture. I want to actually email you a picture.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't the most flattering picture.
No.
But I could see where you could pull off femme realness.
Yeah, but that definitely wasn't a good picture.
Yeah. Yeah, so what are your friends saying in your community?
You know what? They're pretty supportive. Like I said, I believe it either had to be that, you know, he heard your show and recognized my voice some kind of way.
Yeah.
Or either one of my quote-unquote friends, you know, gave him a call, or someone in his camp, and some kind of way he got word that I was contemplating doing this and that I was having some troubles, you know, with our relationship. I never...
No, go ahead.
No, I've never shared with him this, because he just brought it all of a sudden. You know, you need to get this done and get that done. So
everybody, to catch you up with Nicole's situation, Nicole called me during she faxed me a letter during Advice Hour. This is actually our first time talking. She's been involved with this R&B singer for approximately 5 years. He's pretty much given her a really lavish life, including a condo that she's been living in, very nice, on a posh side of Chicago. This singer requested of her to get her penis removed so that he can then go on and marry her. Do I have it correct, Nicole?
Yes, and a name change.
And a name change. And Nicole doesn't want any part of getting her penis removed, even at the cost of giving up this lavish lifestyle from the R&B singer. And I totally, you know, I've got to say, I admire the fact that you were able to be honest enough with yourself, because you've had 5 years of, I'm sure, a very fabulous lifestyle.
Exactly. Listen,
he's a B- C person in the celebrity world at best, but his name still rings bells. It's just not the top bells in the industry.
Right.
And he's able to afford to give Nicole perhaps things that she's not able to afford to give herself. If she cut her penis off, she would be the wife. She could continue in this lifestyle, but that's not what she wants. So I said to her, keep your penis, take whatever money that he's given you, and thank God, you know, Nicole was a smart cookie. Nicole stacked about $24,000. And get used to a different way of life, but at least you'll have your penis, thus your dignity.
Exactly.
So are you on Xanax or abusing alcohol or anything crazy?
Oh, no. You know what? Let me give you a little history. When I first met him, I was just a regular gay male. He got me into doing the trans thing.
Oh.
It was all him. He paid for everything. It was all him.
Whoa. Had you ever thought of doing the tranny thing prior? Okay.
I was disgusted by people who did it. I didn't understand it.
So already you were bending some of your beliefs to fit into the glamorous life.
Very much so. I was just starting to work around celebrities, you know, kind of starstruck, you know. And, of course, he's very romantic and seemed very sincere. and I had no reason to believe that this was something that I shouldn't do because I really, loved him. And so I did it, but he introduced me to everything. Now he's trying to take it to another level, and I didn't want to go there.
All right. There's more conversation with Nicole coming up. I also just want to shout out to Jonathan Plummer, who is suddenly getting cold feet about coming to our show. Jonathan, you don't understand. You can go to all these other medians if you want to. But on a bad day, we've got 11 million people listening, number one. And as a married woman, I always side with the wife, with the exception. And Jonathan,
how you doing?
You are that exception. Because I'm not really understanding where Terry is coming from. Jonathan, get scared feet if you will, but you can go on every Today Show and MSNBC, but nobody's going to hit you and your audience like this show here.
Brother, he told me he had a very good surprise. The surprise was that he turned himself into a woman.
The Wendy Williams Experience. Wendy Williams.
Every state want to be like, want to look like, want to act like, want to dress like, want to sound like, style stealing, clone ass, fighting ass everywhere. Non-reality scene.
Wendy Williams Experience.
So where did you actually meet the R&B singer?
I met him at a studio of the right
of the R&B King.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so you already knew the R&B King?
I knew him, and I was. I didn't have dealings with him. I can't say I had sexual dealings with him, but I deal with a few of his associates who are, also in the business.
Can I ask you as a sidebar?
Sure.
Is the R&B King homosexual?
You know what? With him, I really want to say his name. I can't, but I would disclose as much as I can because I think he's a repulsive individual, and someone really needs to do something because I've seen him mess with 14-year-old, not only girls, but boys. 15, 16-year-old boys. Guys that he buy a pair of $150 pair of Jordans, and they'll do anything.
Yes.
And, it's disgusting. He picks them up on the basketball court. Well, I can only say for this one day that I saw it. He picks them up. He plays basketball at a really popular gym in Chicago.
Okay.
And, if he sees a young guy there, they all look the same. It's a feminine, young, premature-looking guy. And that's who he chose. And he bought the guy a pair of shoes and did what he wanted to the young man. The young man did not know what was going on at all. And by me working around him, I couldn't say anything because that's my job.
Right. And your job was just to be like a hanger-on, part of the atmosphere.
Right. I didn't necessarily work for him, but I worked in the same building as him.
So then one day, the C-list R&B singer was introduced to you by the king of R&B.
Exactly. Well, you know what? He wasn't introduced to me by that. I shouldn't say that. It's just that he was there visiting him.
Okay.
And he saw me and approached me and told me how feminine I looked. And at first I thought he was trying to be negative with me and talk about me.
Bash.
And then he rubbed the side of my face. Oh, you have beautiful skin. Do you shave? Blah, 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 blah. Just running all this game. And I'm young. And this is a celebrity. So, of course, I'm just sitting there in awe. And I'm just nervous. I don't know what to do. And it just, we exchanged numbers. Well, actually, no. He didn't give me his number at first. He got mine. And he continued to call me. And it was just like a experience where I was kind of floored because I didn't know what was going on. This married entertainer who's all over the world traveling, touring, is calling me after his show. And, honestly, we would have phone sex. That's how it all started. Like, we didn't have any type of sexual contact.
How long did the phone sex last? Months, weeks?
While he was on tour, months.
And then tell me about your first date with the R&B singer.
The first date, he came to Chicago, and he was only here for literally like less than 24 hours. I believe he just came to see me or maybe, visit someone else.
Right.
But we stayed in the hotel room all day, and that was basically our first, time ever having sex.
And you had sex, and you had good food, and you had liquor?
Right. Well, I don't drink.
Okay.
No. But,
damn, all that in your right mind?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how long did the relationship progress before he started asking you to dress femme?
I actually, you know what? He started talking about that on the phone. He wouldn't tell me, but he would just say that it turned him on, and he would, kind of indirectly. He was very smart.
Yes.
He would indirectly hint at that turned him on, and I wouldn't say anything because it turned me off.
Okay.
And I didn't want to turn him off, so I wouldn't say anything. I would just say, yeah, whatever, and the subject would eventually change.
But you wanted in, and so eventually you agreed to it.
Yeah, I did. Because at that point, I really did like him. And it was, a few months had passed. I met him in the winter. This was like the spring by now, and I really did like him. So that's why I considered it. I considered it for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I finally did it for him this past, I guess I would say like April or so.
And so at what point did he get the condo and move you in?
Oh, this was about 2002. Of like January 2002, because it was the winter time.
And so, because I'll be honest with you, I'm so glad that you're not going to cut your penis off, because I don't think he would have married you anyway.
I think he would have.
You do? Wait, okay.
I do. I really do. And it's like him. He wants this whole fantasy thing, but he doesn't want anyone to know.
Right.
No, it's him. He wants to feel as if everything is right. As long as he can fool himself, I have a woman's name, I have a woman's private part, then I'm a woman.
So apparently you are a power bottom.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, would he ever penetrate you? I mean, would you ever penetrate him?
Mm-mm. He was strictly he treated me just as he would a woman.
But would he ever, give you professionals? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no, wow.
That was a strange part of it.
Now, did you ever take hormones for your breast or get breast implants?
I did. I took hormone pills. He wanted me to get implants, but I refused against that.
And what size were you able to go with the hormones?
I'm a 34C now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm a 34C.
And what size dress do you wear? You looked a little thicker.
I'm about a 9'10".
Mm-hmm. And how tall are you?
5'9".
Mm-hmm. So would he ever be out with you dressed femininely and then feel like maybe he's being discovered or been discovered that, he's with a pre-op transsexual or, a man dressed as a woman? And then,
you know what? Actually, he would ask me to go out into the town with him and everything. He would always want to go out, once it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, because that's how he is, whether he was with me or not. He likes to go out when there's very few people.
Oh, okay.
But I wouldn't go against it because I didn't feel comfortable yet.
Yes.
So we really haven't, went out. We just went maybe to a bar at a hotel or something, but we've never actually, danced around the town or anything.
Yeah. Now tell me about some of the luxurious gifts that you would get. I mean, getting to live in a fabulous condo is quite luxurious. Did you drive a luxurious car?
No, I don't, because of where I live. I don't need to drive a car at all. I would have a driver.
Okay.
And if I needed a driver, which I rarely use because I think it's pretty stupid, because everything with me, I can just take a cab there.
You're a simple girl.
Right. Okay. But he had a number that I can call at any time through Music Express. Uh-huh. And just they would charge it to his account, and I would just use that driver.
And now, what about gifts? Furs for the chilly Chicago winters?
Oh, yeah. I don't really like furs that much, but I do have one. He got me one. And a lot of jewelry, mainly jewelry, a lot of gift certificates to the spa, because he knows that's what I like.
Yeah.
And mostly whenever he's in town, he'll just come through and bring order a bunch of food or bring a bunch of food with him and just spend time. He's really romantic, and that's why.
So are his songs. Yeah. Would he enjoy making love to you with his own music playing?
No. Mm-mm. We never. No. He actually liked it to be silent, no music, and I do too. So.
Yes. Is he a gentle, tender lover, or was he rough with you?
Both. It depended on how long we hadn't seen each other.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is about more than just a penis. This is about your love life and your dignity. Now, are you trying to get over being in love with him?
No, because I finally realized, I finally realized that he couldn't possibly love me, for me, if he wanted to change everything about me.
Well, are you sure that you protested enough? Because I think this penis thing is a big deal. Nicole, are you sure you said to him enough times, look, I'm not going to do it? Or you never really spoke your mind?
I told him that I found it to be unnecessary even before he started asking me to do it.
Okay.
And once he did, I kept my story. No.
Did you ever approach other options? Like if you go to a doctor and they can give you more hormones to maybe curve in your waist? Or, were there any other options?
You know what? Actually, the only thing that I needed to have done was the breast and That's it. The rest of my body was already that way. Like, I seriously have no problems with that.
And what about facial hair?
Facial hair, I got the electrolysis stuff.
Yes, the electrolysis.
Yeah, electrolysis.
So, would you consider getting the breast implants, keeping the penis, and staying with him?
Oh, no, I don't need the breast implants, and I'm definitely not getting the penis. Like, you know, I'm not as opposed to not talking to him anymore, but if he wants to control me, which is what he was doing.
Yes.
He didn't want me to hang around, you know, the friends that I had, unless they were girls.
Yeah.
And he still was kind of iffy about them. But it's like he wanted to control every single thing. Every single thing.
So, in other words, you got out of this relationship with your penis and your dignity, and thank God you're not abusing drugs and alcohol.
Right.
So then you are free now to go on and live your life the way you want to. Now, will you go back to dressing like a man?
Oh, no.
So he introduced you to the female dressing, but you actually happen to like it.
I do.
Now, you're going to live your life completely as a woman with a penis.
Right.
And
a lot of guys, you know, the women talk about Oprah needs to do a show on this because this is like bigger than the DL thing. Because men feel like because you have hair hanging down your back, because you have a womanly figure, because you may have breasts, I mean, you may not. They feel like that they are not with the man, and it's it's absurd.
Honey, I know exactly what you're talking about, which is why I find your conversation fascinating, and I'm trying not to be joke about it because this is real.
It is.
This is really real.
And you know what? Even to this day, even though I enjoy doing what I do because I love the reaction to men that I get, it's more respect than just being a regular man.
Yes.
And I lost my train of thought. I still am like baffled by this whole secret society of men. Like I would have never thought.
Even though you're a part of it, you would have never thought.
Never thought that it was this big. And there's so many guys are into it. There's a transsexual in Fat Joe's video. The lean back video.
Oh.
The funny looking Latin, I don't know whatever she is, chick that looks like a Bugs Bunny.
Oh.
She is a transsexual. And I know her. So
This is not to say everybody the Fat Joe's into transsexuals, just saying that one of the women in the video happens to be transsexual.
But she's a feature. She's standing behind him. She's standing behind all the rappers. She's a main girl in that video.
Well, she also might get around within the rap community then.
As a lot of them do.
Mm-hmm.
As a lot of them do.
Well, I want you to stay in touch with this show because I don't feel as though this is over. I don't feel Chicago is safe for you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because even though you're done with the C-list R&B singer, it would seem to me that there would be some sort of get at you. And it's Chicago, just like all cities, you know, it's a small world when you want to find somebody, Nicole.
That's true.
And you just better watch yourself and you hold your head.
Right.
And live your life on your terms, the way you're doing right now.
Yeah, I hope it's safe though. I mean, I can't see him doing anything like that, but you never know.
Well, you know, exactly.
Once his pride is hurt, you never know what he's capable of or anyone else. So,
well, please stay in contact with the show, Nicole. Okay?
I will do. And what's the email address so I can send you a picture?
Nicole. At WBLS.com. That's my assistant.
Nicole at WBLS.com. Okay,
yes.
I'll send that right over.
Thank you. And listen, I know you send these pictures and you don't know what kind of crazy bitch I am. I might be putting them up on the website, but I just want you to know that what you send me is confidential.
Okay.
I look just like the other one the other day. You didn't even send a secret note saying, Wendy, please don't put these on your website.
Okay.
But I want you to know that you have a confidant.
Okay.
And please stay in touch with the show.
Thank you so much.
Be well, Nicole.
Okay, have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I like guys.
Well, you know, it is what it is, and we try to get it to you. And, shout out to you, Nicole. Again, you be careful out there because it's real in the field. Special shout out to Harlem Hottie. Harlem Hottie says, girl, Terrence Howard dressed in white, looking good enough to suck on. Oh. Yeah, you know what? Terrence Howard is getting that buzz. Sometimes there's something to be said for being not A-list, but B-C-list and getting all the recognition and all the accolades.
Like an underground rapper.
Yeah, man. I'm loving Terrence Howard right about now. We need to have him on the show. All right. I understand he's planted in Philadelphia, which means he listens to our Philadelphia radio station, Power 99 FM. Hi, Terrence. Hey, Terrence. All right, everybody. Keep it where you got it. The phone lines are open. 866-GET-WENDY. Advice Hour continues with your snafus next. 866-GET-WENDY. It is what it is.
Hey.
How you doing?
How you doing? It's Wendy, man.
My boyfriend and I have been dating for like about 4 months now, and first time we had sex, he could not get it up at all.
Maybe it's drinking. Is he a drug user? Does he take any depressants or anything?
No, nothing.
Maybe it's...
How you doing? The Wendy Williams Experience.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Wendy Williams. Now, you know I always bring the heat. And starting now, I'm going to make it extra with the Seagram's Gin and Juice Hot or Not Calendar Girl Contest. The fabulous grand prizes include your own page in the 2006 Seagram's Gin Calendar, an all-expense-paid trip to the island photo shoot, and a professional makeover courtesy of the new Seagram's Gin and Juice Red Fury. So, ladies, if you're 25 and older, get your thong. Fellas, snap those pictures and log on to www.thewendywilliamsexperience.com to learn how to submit your own entry and peep the other photos. Just listen to me every day as I rate the best, the bustiest, and the bootiful, and then check out the website, SeagramsGin.com, to view this year's calendar girls and the new bold look of Seagram's Gin and Juice. This is going to be hot, and the only new Seagram's Gin and Juice Red Fury is bringing it to you with me, Wendy Williams. Some women have all the time in the world to spend on their hair. Others barely have time to get out the door. What's your story? For hair that fits your life, you'll love JCPenney Salon's unique, personalized 3-step approach. First, they consult. What are you looking for? How much time do you have? Based on what you want and need, they'll create your cut and color. Then they'll show you how to style it yourself. Your life, your hair. JCPenney Salons. Call today, 1-800-542-5565 for locations.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Great. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Today's my birthday as well, but I just want to ask for a little bit of advice.
Happy birthday, okay.
Thank you very much. What do you do? Well, you can say I've been dating this guy off and on for the last 5.5 years. And it was good for the first 2 years, but then slowly but surely, I've become not sexually attracted to him anymore. Mm-hmm. But we're really good friends. Mm-hmm. And it's good when we hang out, but I think, and he's told me this, that he's in love with me and that he loves me to death and, oh, I wish we can get married, so on and so forth. But I'm like, no, I'm not really feeling that. But at the same time, if I hear that he's dating other people,
you have a fit.
There you go.
Right.
And it's like you want to have your cake and eat it too. And I know it's not right. And I told him that, clearly I'm not sexually attracted to you anymore.
Right.
But am I wrong for keeping him in this loop and still having him close and dear to me, knowing that in the future, in the long run, that
as far as I'm concerned, these are natural feelings.
Right, you're right.
If I can't have you, no one can. Sure. How old are you, if you don't mind?
I'm 26.
Yeah. And you want to get married and have kids one day?
One day.
But this is not the guy.
This is not the guy. But he's a great friend.
This is what you need to do. Give yourself a birthday gift by being honest to yourself. F him. You need a breakup, and forget the thing about being friends, because then you'll have to deal with him talking about his love life outside of you.
You're right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
In my opinion, there is no such thing as being great friends with somebody who could have been a contender to make you an MRS. Do you follow what I mean?
I hear you. Definitely.
There is no such thing as great friends for a contender for the MRS. So, did he get your birthday gift at least?
He called. He called. But I'm having a soiree on Friday, so maybe the gift will come then.
What, you want to know what? Even if it does come, does that still make you in love with him or not in love with him?
No, I love him to death, but I'm not in love with him.
Okay. So you need to be honest with yourself. Are you honestly able to be friends with a man while he goes on and dates other women?
Honestly, no.
No. Okay. Time to go. Time to cut him off. Don't invite him to your soiree. That will be the first day of the rest of your life. Tell him today on our birthday.
You're right.
I mean, tell him today.
I hear you.
And be honest with him and be honest with yourself. You will kill a broad if she was with him, but you don't want him yourself.
You're right.
Be honest.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Thank you for being that sister in my head.
Oh, you're welcome.
Have
Thank
a splendid day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Hi, it's Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
How are you?
Fine. Could you not put me on the radio, though?
Yeah, but we're on. Don't say your name.
Okay. I have a question. Okay. I've been married for 4 years, and my marriage is the worst. The sex is the worst. Everything is just terrible. It's like we have a partnership.
How long did you date prior to being married?
6 years.
Where in that 6 years did you discover that this really wasn't the man for you?
After we got married.
Okay. How many kids?
3.
How old are they?
12, 11, and 7.
Okay. So all the kids were before the marriage.
All right.
How old are you?
30.
You ready to go?
Yes.
Okay.
But he does everything.
You ready to get a job?
I have a job, but it's just not. It's not enough.
Paying all the bills. Boy. I would suggest being more honest with him and yourself, and possibly getting that second job and making sure your child care was taken care of. Because think about it. When you're in a plane and you have your baby in your lap, the stewardesses tell you to put the gas mask on your face first, right? Mm-hmm. Because only with a healthy mommy can you have a healthy baby, right? You first, and then you put the gas mask, take care of the baby second, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Only with a healthy mommy can your kids grow to be healthy adults. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
So I wish you luck with your moves. But it sounds like it's time to get out. Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. You got to muster up the strength.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wish you well.
Bye.
A lot of women don't quite understand that. But, they say it perfectly there on JetBlue or whatever you're flying. You know, if you have a baby in your lap, you put your gas mask on first, and then you pull the baby's gas mask on them. And that is like a light bulb moment that needs to go off in all mothers' minds. It's like, without a healthy mommy, there is no healthy baby. You got to do right by you in order to do right by them, the kids. Hello?
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
Wendy, I faxed over a letter to you on Friday. I'm the Lindenhurst mom and lover.
The who?
The Lindenhurst mom and lover. I've been listening to your show for the last couple of days, and I've been really upset by it because I'm going through a situation where my son came home from prison in January, and my girlfriend, my lover, is the same age, and they got together, and I found pictures, and I have lost my mind. He's an inspiring rapper. He had like 7 years of lyrics and stuff, and I set a fire to all his stuff, packed his pictures.
Okay, wait. You have a woman who's your lover.
I thought she was until my son took her away from me.
Okay, your son came home from prison and took your lover.
Yes.
Your
she
son
was in my house before he came home and didn't want him there because she was uncomfortable.
Okay. And your son has 7 years of lyrics, and you set fire to them.
I set fire to that. I put all his belongings that remained in my household in a duffel bag, along with the pictures, a bus ticket, a receipt from a bus ticket saying that he was just with her recently. I have been supporting him, feeding him, giving him money, trying to help him.
So he has been mentally cruel to you by telling you he's with your lesbian lover.
I found pictures of my lover in various suggestive poses, and even hotels that we've been in. I found the same pictures stating I knew exactly where the hotels were.
Okay.
And I sent her a explosive package with copies of pictures of women that he's been with in compromising positions, mixing with pictures of her.
Woman, where in this show don't you understand? I take snafus, not full-blown problems. Now listen, if the Lifeboat...
I'm trying to find God back again because I lost it. I have like little faith in people. I opened up my heart, my home, and I feel so betrayed. I don't know what to do.
Okay. If the Lifeboat was going down, who would you save, your lover or your son?
Wow. You got to think about it.
Wow.
Her. I've been through this since he was 14. He's 25 now.
Oh.
She had a hard time, and we was happy together.
Okay.
And she came in there.
Okay. This is way over my head. I thought your answer would be your son.
It would have been.
No. Open up your phone book. You need therapy beyond what this show can give you. Do you understand? Do you understand? I love you for listening, and I appreciate it, but this is way over my head. You need a professional therapist. And trust me, I work therapy myself. You would benefit from therapy, okay?
I've been there, Wendy, and I tell you...
It's time to go again. It's time to go again, okay? Hello?
Hello?
Promise?
Wendy, I've been there, and I have all the patience. I have found God, and I'm telling you right now, I just little faith in anything. I don't believe anything anymore.
Okay. But to choose a lover versus your own son that you bore from your womb is twisted right there. You need therapy. Therapy.
I've been hurt. This is hurt. This is pain.
Okay, hold on. I want to talk to you behind the scenes, okay?
Yes.
All right. In the meantime, everybody, keep it where you got it, because Jonathan Plummer, the soon-to-be ex-husband of Terry McMillan, the author, the fabulous author, I might add, will be in during the next hour. It's the Hour of Truth coming up on the Wendy Williams Experience. Keep it here.
It's Wendy, man.
Me and my wife have been married for 15 years. They threatened to leave.
What did you do?
Had a problem with drugs.
You got the drug voice.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Just asking, what's your drug of choice?
You name it.
Coke?
Yeah.
Weed?
Yeah.
Crack?
Yeah.
Heroin?
Yeah.
E-pills?
Yeah.
Whippets?
Alcohol.
Gorilla?
Yeah.
PCP?
Yeah.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
Wow. Okay. Hello. It's the Wendy Williams Experience, everybody. Hello, how are you? If you're just turning us on, well, you missed Nicole. Nicole called up for a couple of breaks an hour ago and spilled the tea. By the way, as much as I love Cake Man Raven's cupcakes, I can't take it. The caloric intake of his cakes are so heavy. I'll have to eat these after hours. All right. Thank you, Cake Man Raven. And shout out to everybody who's been guessing the blind item regarding the R&B singer. What?
Everybody's looking for you.
I've been right here on my perch. Okay. It's no secret at this point that today is my birthday. My actual birth day. Thank you to my mother for not being pro-choice. Thank you, Mommy.
You will always be my special star. I love you.
Thank you, Mommy. I love you also. And thank you, Daddy. Shout out to my brother and my sister. And shout out to all my family. Thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes coming through and stuff. You know, how do I say this without being cold? My best birthday wish is good health and a personal life outside of the toe talk. Does anybody understand that anymore?
No, the toe talk is good.
The toe talk is fabulous. All right. But when I get off the radio, I need to have somebody spooning me and somebody hugging me and mommying me and kissing and all that other kind of stuff. I need that. I am a Cancer. And I am soft and I am fragile. Oh. And I'd rather be in a corner crying right now than giggling off of the libations of Seagram's gin and juice. We've got a fabulous contest going on the website, and I've got to let you know that it ends on, when is the 22nd of this month? Friday? I believe it is.
Yes, it is. Right.
Friday. Right.
Right.
Friday is the last day of the contest on the website. Seagram's Gin and Juice. They're looking for the hot or not calendar girl. Are you hot or not? We can answer that question by you putting on a bathing suit. I just got a whole new list of entries, and I rated them from put my top 10 on the top. Only Nicole, can you please bring in my list of who I loved? How you doing?
Oh.
Yeah. If you go to the website, thewendywilliamsexperience.com, you'll see Gin and Juice has a contest running on the website. And it's simply about, are you hot or not? If you're hot, if you make the contest, you'll, have a calendar girl, a month, a spread like that. The grand prize winner wins a trip to an exotic location for a full-blown photo shoot, makeover, and whatnot. And this contest is run by Seagram's Gin and Juice, of which I've got to tell you something. Fabulous. Do you ever get lazy with your friends and you just don't feel like mixing and blending and all like that? You just want to open something and pour it over ice and make it happen? Okay, me too. Seagram's Gin and Juice, they make that possible. So right now what they're doing is they're doing this contest on the website, and it's a calendar girl contest for actually the calendar of 2006. That's 12 months. 12 months. Okay. I hardly qualify as a calendar girl.
Why not?
Oh, please. Like my son said to me today, Mommy, does this mean that you're going to be an old lady? He said, hunching over like grandma, and then he did it.
He's a good actor.
He hunched over like grandma with the invisible cane at the floor.
Oh, the old man walk he did.
Yeah, the old man walk. And I was like, no, Kevin. I said, Mommy's still young. I'm still dropping it like it's hot. Oh. And I was in my 5-inch stilettos in his bedroom, and I dropped down and raised back up in my Joe jeans rolled to the knees. And my little ensemble on the top, six inches of belly showing. Oh. All right. And I said, listen, come over here, little boy. Oh. Let mother get you dressed for school. As I will be driving you this morning in my ensemble. A simple white hoodie and a fabulously laced Casabella bra. Oh. Joe jeans, Casabella G-string. Uh-oh. All right. Manicured feet and 5-inch mules. Now, while it might not be acceptable for parent-teacher night, hello. It is what it is. How I'm doing. All right. That's all. I don't make a big deal over like birthdays and all that other kind of stuff. But I will say that it just so happens on the birth of my day, which happens to be today, happens to be one of the best days of my life. I work. Shout out to everybody who listens. Power 104.1, Hartford 103.9, The Beat, South Carolina. Shout out to 100.3 The Beat in LA and all points in between. Q93 in New Orleans. Shout out to everybody in the entire state of Louisiana, as a matter of fact, because we got you covered. 3 markets, and we got you covered. Shout out to Flint, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Decatur. But the point is that, what is the point? Jonathan Plummer is stuck in traffic and on his way here. Jonathan Plummer is the scorned husband of Terry McMillan. We'll be talking with him. In the meantime, Mariah Carey's representatives are saying that her sister Allison isn't really tainting Mariah's image by being arrested on charges of prostitution. Allison was having sex for $252 apparently a pop, and she is HIV positive, and I don't put this off on Mariah. Do you? I don't put this off on Mariah. Yes, Elisa. What is the association? Jonathan is here? Okay. Jonathan Plummer is in the building.
He's here. He's in the office with us.
He's in the office.
Yes.
But he's waiting for his attorney.
Yes.
Why?
So that means... No. Fine.
Oh.
So in either this break or the next one. She's in...
The next break.
Yes.
Jonathan must understand that we are friend, not foe.
Yes.
Okay.
I told him.
Loosen him up with some Seagram's gin and juice. Hello? Don't
worry, I got you. I can take it back there to him.
Get back there. Get back there.
Yeah,
Go. Rush him something nice. We need the truth serum induced. Okay. Thank you, Artie. Miss Honey is switching like he's about to go see the next coming of Christ. Woo! Where was I? Oh, Mariah Carey and her sister. I don't blame Mariah for this. Yeah, no. And as far as Michael Jackson, he's planned a 1,000 guest spectacular for his father's 76th birthday. It's going to be in Berlin, Germany. Janet, Jermaine, all the kids will be attending. It's supposed to be a surprise. I should probably be shutting up on this. There's a big article in today's paper about Desperate Housewives being gay-friendly. Duh. Who needed a write-up for this? Shout out to the whole Rainbow Coalition. Where have these people been? We're all waiting for the next season of Desperate Housewives. Hello? I know I can't wait. Shout out to everybody listening in South Carolina, though. I'll be there on Friday. Mother Nature got in the way of me and you on Friday. This past Friday, I was in the airport like, why? When are we leaving? When is the plane leaving? Why? An hour later, 2 hours later, next thing, 4 hours later, and it was like a no-show. Oh, please. Shout out to Ashanti. Ashanti, look, there's a problem. $4 million in royalties? Jeez Louise. You got to cut that in half and make it $2 million. She'll have to pay out to some damn body. Apparently, there is this entertainment agency who says that they signed Ashanti back in 1997 when she was just 16 years old. And instead, she ended up going with Murder, Inc. and then, becoming the Ashanti that we know. But we can't discount these people who pay attention to people when they're, quote, unquote, nobodies. So Ashanti is going to trial on this one. And it's about royalties, and it's about big, big, big money. I am locking jaw like a pit bull. I would love to know what's going on. Chapter 2 sold 2 million copies. Her self-titled debut sold 4 million copies. Somewhere there is a question that needs to be answered. What?
He's drinking a shot of Hennessy.
He's drinking Hennessy?
Yes, he's on his first one right now.
Very nice.
He's tall and strappy. He's a fine young lad. Tall drink of water.
Jonathan?
Yes, he is.
How tall is he?
Like 6'4". Ouch.
Ooh.
Ouch.
6'4".
Here I go. 6'4". Nicole, 6'4".
Yes.
Child, please.
It's good. It's very nice.
Are his eyebrows done?
They look very well manicured. Looks neat and nice.
Manicured eyebrows, 6'4", Jonathan Plummer.
And smelling so nice.
Smelling fabulous. He's wearing Dolce & Gabbana. Terry, your loss is my gain. How you doing? I'm about to pounce all over this cat. Shall I introduce him as Jonathan Plummer interviewed by Woody, or shall we bring Wendy back in? I am feeling in a certain mood. How will this be played out? Somebody give me a drink of something. Artie, lock the door. You keep Wendy busy on those mail order internet catalogs, that cheap crap that she likes to order. I'll stay in here and have my way with Miss Jonathan. Hollywood, you cook like Betty Crocker. This birthday fiesta is fabulous. Oh, the jerk chicken. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
The macaroni and cheese is sumptuous. Miss Zoe on the collard greens and the sweet potatoes. And the shrimp. Child, please, keep it here. Jonathan Plummer is next on the Wendy Williams Experience. How you doing? All right.
Hey.
It's Wendy, man.
My boss came into my office and he basically brushed up against me with his penis.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know how should I handle that situation?
The Wendy Williams Experience.
If you missed BLS Sunset Cruise 2, you missed what everybody else on board will be talking about.
Man, this is great.
This was like the perfect place to be.
The music.
Cruise was great.
I love it.
BLS. The cruise was off the hook.
Now 107.5 WBLS heads uptown to Grants Tomb, West 122nd Street and Riverside Drive for Unity Day, Sunday, July 31st, in celebration of Harlem Week. Join WBLS on the main stage with a live performance by Lenny Williams. Then it's gospel celebration at 4 p.m. as we celebrate Mary, Mary, and more. At 6 p.m., BLS rolls out a free concert under the stars with Freddie Jackson, Melissa Morgan, Layla Hathaway, along with a tribute to Luther. It's a full day of family fun. Sunday, July 31st. It's Unity Day in Harlem with 107.5 WBLS.
Brought to you by Rehab Doctor of Rehab Associates, your siding and roofing specialist. 800-600-5400.
That's you, Miss Wesley.
Please, I've been promised before. Are we on the radio? Oh, the girls are trying to convince me of something. You could do it, Miss Wendy. I've been, girls, please. I've heard it before. Mother has lived. Anyway, everybody. It's the Wendy Williams Experience on 107.5 WBLS. Today's R&B and Classic Soul. And, of course, Vaughn's up at 7 o'clock with The Quiet Storm. On Thursdays, the place to be is The Shadow. The Shadow is completely free on Thursday nights. It's amazing. Fridays, please, chill out, okay? Saturdays. And guess what? The first Friday in August. What Friday would that be? What's the date? Oh, all these interns, nobody knows. CC Peniston. I say all that to say. Live at the Shadow, first Friday of August. CC Peniston. Okay, so take that and run with you all in the radio audience. CC, first Friday in August at the Shadow. Can't stand it when we're alone. Oh, without a doubt, you're the best thing that happened to me. Yeah, baby. See? Okay. But even before the first Friday of August comes Sunday, July 31st.
When you sing.
The WBLS family is down at Grant's Tomb. Melissa Morgan, a tribute to Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson will be there, and Layla Hathaway. So write down that date, okay? Sunday, July 31st, Grant's Tomb is the place to be. Find out more information because we're celebrating our 107 days of summer. Go to WBLS.com, okay? All right, good. Okay, all right. Shout out to everybody at Lounge 42. You know I was supposed to be there this coming Friday. Unfortunately, Mother Nature put a whole storm on my parade going down south to South Carolina this past Friday. So now I have to make good by doing this Friday. So next Friday, then, I'll be at Lounge 42. What date would that be? No, next Friday at Lounge 42. 4 interns, nobody knows.
I think the 29th.
Yeah. Be like the last Friday in the month. Mm-hmm. 29th. Yeah. So, Lounge 42, everybody, 42 West Broad Street in Mount Vernon. The Fleetwood section, place to be. Every Friday night, the WBLS live broadcast is the place to be. This Friday, I won't be there though, but the following Friday I will, if that matters, okay? Okay. Special shout out to Beyond Image in Union, New Jersey. Ali and John working hard for the money. These boys listen every day, and they fax every day. I'm feeling like I want some rims today. Tomorrow might be different, but today, let me floss. Are you all open after 7 o'clock? That's my only available time. Hey, John. Hey, Ali. Hey, everybody at Beyond Image. Thank you very much for turning us on. Hey, Vaughn comes up at 7 o'clock with the Quiet Storm, and Vaughn's doing his thing, putting it down like no other. I got to tell you something. I am so distracted between the fabulous buffet. Trevor, you put it down like Aunt Jemima. I mean, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you. Not just me.
Zoe, you put it down like Aunt Jemima, too. You all and this LaGuardia buffet you have set up for the birthday show. I'm trying to deflect from birthday because, that's just really some other mess. You know what I'm saying? It's more about, like, my son started crying this morning. He was like, Mommy, he was like, where are the guests? Aren't you going to dress like a princess? Aren't you going to get diamonds for me and Daddy? I was like, honey, really, a kiss and hugs and peace. Hold on. Yes?
I'm not bothering you. Okay.
Is he fleeing the scene?
No, he's there. He's fine.
Are you filling him with Seagrams?
They can hear you, yes.
All right.
He's fine.
All right. Checking on Jonathan Plummer. I'm like, he's like, are you getting old? I was like, no, Mommy's not getting old. Mommy's getting better. I don't want guests. You and Daddy and hugs and kisses. Good. I'm good. I lied. Somebody give me a pile of gifts. Something other than an Gordian buffet and some liquor. Can I have some diamonds and a Maybach in my driveway? I mean, really? How you do it? No, but you know what, though? I had a clear pap smear last week, a clear pelvic ultrasound. You know how I am. You know what I'm saying? Good health and a decent living. Pfft, I'm good. I'm a simple girl. You know what I mean? I'm a simple girl. I've had 2 miscarriages through birthdays in the past. So to be here and, be all like this and like that is like, oh, like this and like that. And you're not going to get me to cry and all, this is where we probably need to close out the break, Hollywood. But we do have Jonathan Plummer here, and he is Terry McMillan's soon-to-be ex-husband, and he'll be speaking with us live in the studio next on the Wendy Williams Experience on 107.5 WBLS. Thank you, everybody. Keep it here. right, open up the door. Coming down the runway. Oh my God, you're so tall. Get this chair out of the way. I don't need anything in between he and me. Jonathan.
Hello.
Might I say, come. First, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Jonathan, have a seat. I picked your card from the very beginning. Right there. Right there. No. Right there.
Oh, sit here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jonathan, everybody, is Terry McMillan. Pull close.
Okay.
Please don't be nervous. Jonathan, everyone, is Terry McMillan, the noted author's soon-to-be ex-husband.
Correct.
Okay. The basis of Stella.
Correct, yes.
How much of a percentage did you get from the Stella empire?
Not enough. How's that?
Okay. Well, what I understand is that you got a percentage from the book.
Correct.
A percentage from the movie. And you signed as Winston at her signings.
Correct, I did.
Okay. So that would be like 20%. 20%?
10%.
10%. All right, Jonathan, I did not see you on Matt Lauer and Katie. You know, excuse me?
It was Good Morning America.
Good Morning America. I didn't see you. But I was surprised that you took it there. Only because Terry hadn't even been there. Terry went on Tavis, Smiley, and how long is your marriage?
6.5 years.
6.5 years.
Correct.
You met her when you were 20 years old.
Yes.
And she was 41.
43.
43. Oh God, even worse. See, I am not there, but she is a peer in my age range as far as back then.
Okay.
You couldn't fool me. I saw those eyebrows, honey. All right.
I just started doing eyebrows like recently.
Whatever. I saw back then, okay?
Well, I didn't know.
But I did.
Well, good for you. I didn't know.
At what point did you come to terms with your absolute homosexuality?
Probably like 1.5 years ago. Yeah, she liked it when guys looked at me. She brought it to my attention. I mean, she liked it when girls looked at me, but she emphasized the fact that she liked it when guys looked at me, and she brought it to my attention, and I kind of liked it, you know. And I just thought, okay, maybe there's something here that I must find out, you know, kind of curious about.
Now, when she met you, and you were in Jamaica, because we only know the Stella movie as reference.
Yes.
You were a worker at the resort where she was staying?
No, I wasn't. I was there looking for a job. A friend of mine works there, and I was staying with him, and I had the same privileges as a guest did there. And I was, you know, going back and forth to resorts, you know, applying for a job, and I met Terry there. And I want to let people know that, you know, I didn't come on to her. She came on to me. I was, you know, having breakfast at my table, and she was across from me.
Were you by yourself at your table?
I was by myself, yes. And she looked over and asked me if I was a rapper. And I said no.
And she was by herself?
She was by herself, correct. And also, we started talking, and then, you know, we were like, you know, shouting across. And I said, do you mind if I just sit by your table and just, you know, let you know what the island's all about, the whole culture, you know, things to do, things not to do. And then afterwards, you know, we start seeing each other throughout the resort. I mean, it's a small resort, you know.
Right.
So I was there as a guest, so, I mean, so you can go back and forth. And with the pool scene in the movie, she was in the pool, I was walking by. She asked me to come in the pool because some older guy was hitting on her.
Yes.
And then she was asking about, you know, kind of like, you know, seductive questions like, you know, what's the oldest woman I've ever slept with? And I kind of like to say 30-something. And then she just said that, would you like to sleep with me? So that's the thing. So, I mean, she's telling the world that I was the one, is like a whole scheme. Like, it's like a get-rich scheme, which is not true. I mean, she's the one that got rich. I didn't. You know, so I just want to let people know that, you know.
Can I just say that today I'm celebrating a birthday, and
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Happy birthday.
And while I'm not 43,
okay,
I consider anybody between. What is that?
That's one of the intern's pagers.
I consider any woman between like 37 and 43 my age range.
Okay.
35 and 45 my age range. There'd be nothing sexually or in terms of drug abuse that a 20-year-old can pull over on me, which is why I have to be honest with you, and I've said it before, I normally side with the wife, but in this case, I find it hard to side with a 43-year-old woman versus a 20-year-old young man. Do you understand, Jonathan?
Exactly. I mean, I do. I mean, the thing is, I was young, naive, and you know, I mean, we started as friends, and the thing is, I didn't know who she was. Yeah, I did not. Seriously, I mean,
she sent you
a package
with a bunch of clippings about who she is.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
That's probably her ringing you.
Probably. You know, she does it all the time.
Are those True Religion jeans you're wearing? How you doing? What kind of jeans are those, Jonathan? Express.
I wear them well, don't I?
Yes, you do, honey. How does he wear, Miss Audie?
Oh, very well.
All right. And your eyebrows and your hair and your skin, fabulous. And your thumb ring.
And the lips.
And your lips, the MAC lip gloss.
Oh,
yes. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan,
yes,
your wedding ring.
Oh, this is not my wedding ring. It just fit on this finger. It was just a ring that I kind of gained a little weight in. This only ring, the only finger that this ring fits on.
Gained
and I like it a
weight?
lot.
How tall are you?
6'4".
And how much do you weigh?
Well, I weigh like 190. I lost weight through this whole process. So.
Well, let me just say that you're here during the introduction break to your entire situation. So I understand you were feeling nervous about coming here.
Very nervous.
Do you feel a little bit more calm now?
I feel a little bit better. Much better.
You.
Yes.
Now, who is accompanying you on today's show?
My attorney, Dolores Sargent.
Dolores? Hi, Dolores. Anytime we need Dolores, we can pull her up to the microphone, okay?
Yes. I mean, that's why she's here with me.
Okay, we have 1 minute left on this break.
Okay.
So what I want you to do, girls, open the door. Escort Jonathan back to the pink room along with Dolores, and we'll get back into it after this break. You feel calm, right?
I feel calm, yes.
You're not going to flee the situation, are you?
I'm not. I'll be packed.
Would you like some Seagram's gin and juice? Girls, make him a double. Okay. Go, Jonathan, go. Dolores, he is in good company. Look at that. There he goes. Oh, Miss Terry. Oh, Miss Terry, I don't know how you didn't know, honey. All right, you all keep it here. It's the Wendy Williams experience. Hey. Jonathan Plummer's in the studio. Terry McMillan's soon-to-be ex-husband. And it can't stop because we won't stop. All right?
Wendy, man.
I met up with this guy. We were together. We were at his house, and why do you think his thing wouldn't work? Do you think maybe he's...
How you doing? The Wendy Williams experience.
What's going on? America, there is a need for alarm.
For Wendy Williams experience.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Jonathan, you're looking at my wedding ring.
Exactly.
Now, how did your wedding ring look, your original ring?
It was just a basic, just a 1 carat diamond on it.
Okay, so when you met Terry McMillan, Jonathan Plummer is in the studio, soon to be the ex-husband of Terry McMillan.
Yes.
You met her when you were 20 years old. She
Correct.
was 43.
Correct.
Once again, I say there is nothing that a 20-year-old could have pulled over on my eyes. I am surprised. Jonathan, to be honest with you, I saw pictures of you when you guys first got together, and I was like, "Oh, how you doing?
Oh.
All right." And I know that you were confused at that point with your sexual preference, but I could have pulled you out of the closet.
I didn't think so.
Well, I could have.
Well, good for you.
Well, anyway. So your present lover, how old is he? Are you in love? What? Apparently there was somebody that was mentioned during the, you're out of this house during Christmas time, and you said that your lover was not available. Your attorney could probably answer that better than you. Okay. This is where we need her.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi. Share mics with Jonathan.
Jonathan doesn't have a present lover. He's not involved in an affair right now.
Okay. He's available for Artie.
Thank you.
Jonathan, when was the last time you had sex? Just asking.
It's been a while.
Okay. All right. Now, Jonathan, as you sit before us, you were out of the closet. You were fine with your sexuality. You say that Terry McMillan gay bashed you.
Correct.
In what ways?
She would just she would, say derogatory things like, you fag, you bitch, who's sucking who is screwing who, things like that on my voicemail.
Let's back up to Christmas of 2005 or 2004 into 2005.
Yeah.
She approached you. She says that she wanted a divorce anyway.
Well, we were having problems last summer. She couldn't understand why we weren't, connecting anymore. And we just said, let's just go throughout the holidays and then evaluate the relationship next year. We're probably going to call it quits next year.
Okay.
But she kept on probing, asking me, why aren't we, compatible anymore? Why aren't we
having sex?
Oh, well, not necessarily having sex, but it's just not really, doing the married couple thing.
Okay.
So, and then one night we're watching TV and she just asked me, what's going on? And I just kind of told her, you can't handle the truth. And the truth is, she said, try me. So I said, okay. And the truth is that I'm having, conflicting feelings about my sexuality and, that I might be gay.
Okay.
And that's when she said, oh, I knew, So that's when she said
it wasn't that easy, though. It was new, and it was probably loud in the house.
Kind of, sort of.
Your attorney is nodding her head like she wants it to fall off.
I know. So that's the thing. So she the night that I told her, she's like, oh, she knew, and she's trying to understand and all that kind of stuff. But the next day, I just got her rage, basically.
Okay.
And it hasn't stopped till now, basically.
So you had a pet business
correct,
that she purchased for you. She's saying for $300,000, Terry McMillan. And you have since sold the business?
Well, I didn't sell it.
Okay.
It just went out of business, basically, based on what's going on right now.
Okay.
And it's just not happy, being in the neighborhood, and, people are just kind of not really pleased about what's going on right now, because she said that she wants me out of the town, out of the neighborhood, basically.
So she's blacklisted you from the neighborhood. So
basically, she said that
it made it impossible for you to have a business.
Correct.
So right now she's paying you $2,000 a month. And $25,000 for attorney fees.
Yes,
that's what we've heard. Does your attorney do you want to speak on his behalf?
The court ordered her to pay $2,000 a month in spousal support to Jonathan. I believe the order commenced at the beginning of June. As of this date, as far as I know, he hasn't received a nickel. The court also ordered her to pay $25,000, as in for his attorney's fees. She has not paid it. It was due today.
Oh.
Correct.
Okay.
That should say something. The fact that the judge, realized what was going on.
Yeah.
To award spousal support and attorney's fee based on based on the fact that with the prenup, I waived my rights for everything.
So, California is the state that you all made your primary residence.
Correct.
And that would be a 50% state.
Correct.
Are you looking for 50% of what she's worth?
No, not at all.
What are you looking for?
It's just to be treated fair. The thing is this. It's not like I want all her money or half of her money, but I think I contributed to her success. I made sure things were done, during the time she was writing her books.
Okay, freeze. People, what you need to understand is that Jonathan, based on his visa in this country, could not work for a particular amount of time.
Exactly.
So he could not be on anybody's books. So you were employed as a private, I guess, employee, kind of, sort of.
If you put it that way.
Yeah. Now her son, what's his name? Solomon. How old is he now?
He's 21.
Okay. How do you and Solomon, how do you all get along?
We got along pretty well. I didn't really play the father figure because it just didn't make any sense. I was more like his buddy, his friend, like an older brother, basically. I did things for him that, since his father is not around, he lives in another state. I just kind of just did things that were necessary. That
How was Terry's relationship with Solomon's father?
I'd rather not comment on that. That's
Okay.
something that she
Fair.
should talk about herself.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, I just basically just did like, things that needed to be done, take him to school, do errands with them, taking places. So things like that. I contributed, to the lifestyle that we were living based on the fact that I wasn't working. I didn't really have an income. So,
And now Terry contributed to the lifestyle of your parents, which if we base it on the movie, your parents were... Stella's got her groove back, everybody. Basically, your parents were pretty well-off people.
no, not really.
Okay, explain.
No, they're not well off. They're just average middle class
Okay.
income.
She wrote them checks.
I'd rather not comment on that. It was just,
Okay.
it's complicated, basically. But it's not like we were after her money. That's the thing. That's the thing that she's trying to let people know, that we're after her money and all that kind of stuff. But it's not true. I mean, she was generous, but it's not like we're always, at her beck and call.
Mm-hmm. Were you ever in love with Terry McMillan?
Yes, I was. I mean, it didn't start that way. But, being together with somebody, living together, growing together as a couple,
Okay.
you start, developing feelings and
So
love.
you were married for 6.5 years.
Yes.
At what point did you become in love with her?
It was before we got married, that I became in love with her.
Okay. Her or her lifestyle?
I'm sorry?
Her lifestyle or her?
Her, of course.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was a grandiose lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. I mean, like, who wouldn't love the lifestyle too?
Yes.
But the thing is, it was a plus. How's that?
Let me ask you this.
I loved her, but yet the lifestyle was a plus.
Is Star Jones next?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know, maybe, because I was talking to friends of mine, and I don't know. Okay. I have no idea.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
But I heard things about
Al?
Something like that.
Okay.
But I'm not saying anything. It's his life. They can live their life the way they want to. Now I'm trying to get on with my life and let people know that I'm not, a fraudster. I'm not after her for her money. I just want to be treated fair.
What is fair? Like if your attorney can speak for you.
Yes, please.
What is fair at this particular point, counselor? Counselor is a middle-aged white woman with a full head of hair and a full. I'm trying to describe you the best way I can. Okay, what is fair for Jonathan Plummer?
Well, California is a no-fault state, and typically anything earned during the marriage would be split equally between the parties.
How much has been earned during their marriage?
I'm not sure, but I think quite a bit, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this new book was all written during the marriage, so that would be community property, too. Jonathan does not want that. He wants essentially what was promised to him when he and Terry first met, and what I understand she told his parents, that he would be well taken care of, he'd have a house to live in, and he wouldn't have to worry when this was over. He'd be able to get on with his life. Mm-hmm. And essentially that's what we want.
Are you Jonathan's first attorney, or are you his maybe fifth or sixth down the line?
No, I am his first. And so
only.
far only.
Okay.
I've been with him from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. She didn't think that I would...
Up to the mic, Jonathan.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
How you doing?
I know, I'm sorry. This is all new to me.
All right.
This is all new to me.
Up to that mic is not new, honey. I've known since she was 20.
Yes, it is.
All right.
It is new. It is
I
new.
saw you, honey.
Oh, come on. No, that's not true.
Whatever.
That's not true.
Your teeth are beautiful. Might I add a rum? Can you look at Jonathan's teeth? And his eyebrows and his skin complexion, and your hair is gorgeous. I don't know how Miss Terry didn't see it coming, but all right, whatever. You're embarrassed, but don't be embarrassed. You're a beautiful specimen.
Thank you.
Al, you need to be jealous. Shouting out to Al Reynolds.
No.
You're a beautiful man.
Thank you.
Your lips are divine.
And shine, too.
Absolutely.
Now you're making me sweat.
Honey, let me tell you, your lips are a 10 across the board.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So So Miss Terry,
Yes.
she exemplified. I saw Tavis Smiley.
Okay.
A lot of fidgeting, a lot of like weird body language. Tell me there was no drug abuse. Please tell me that everything is on the up and up.
I didn't. I mean, during the marriage, there was no drug abuse that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and well, she was on.
Your attorney just touched you on the shoulder. That means stop.
Stop. I'm sorry.
That means
I
stop.
can't. Well, you know
Okay.
that you know what, her
That means stop.
Yeah, she needs to answer her on her own.
Okay. So you'll stop.
Yeah, but I don't see her. I've never seen her use any drugs or anything like that during the marriage.
You would make love and you would have regular heterosexual relationship. So
Yes.
at what point during this marriage did you get the courage to say, I'm gay, I'm a homo, I like guys?
This like last December when I told her the truth. You know, I mean,
Were you in love at that point?
We were falling out of love. I think we both were in a point in our life where we both wanted something different. I think she wanted somebody who was on her level, who could give her what she wants, financially, stability in her life and everything, and somebody that they can grow old together. And I couldn't do that. But the thing is this. She knew the marriage wasn't going to last forever. With the wedding vows, she took till death do us part out. And she's not telling people that. So she knew that it wasn't going to last forever.
What did she say?
She just, everything was the same, but where it says till death do us part, she took that out. She didn't want that in because she knew that, it wasn't going to last forever. And we were just going to just enjoy each other's company.
Until it was
time.
Right until the wheels fall off, basically. Okay. More talk with Jonathan Plummer. We got 30 seconds on the break. You will not flee the situation, right?
No, I feel comfortable now.
Oh, you do?
I feel comfortable. I was afraid, but I feel comfortable.
Thank you. Jonathan Plummer will continue with us next on the Wendy Williams Experience. How you doing?
My oldest brother, he told me he had a really good surprise. The surprise was that he turned himself into a woman.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
Oh, how you doing? Turn off Woody. All right.
The Woody button was left on from the last break. It's 107.5 WBLS, today's R&B and Classic Soul and the Wendy Williams Experience. Hey, listen, caller number 11 on the phone right now is going to pick up passes for Anita Baker at Jones Beach, July 23rd. It's for the Tommy Hilfiger concert series. Anita Baker, July 23rd at Jones Beach. Dial carefully and good luck. One of my interns who can still stand. Who's still standing? Bianca, queen of all interns. All right. Bianca, can you get that phone call? All right. Taryn, queen of all interns, has gotten herself a full-time job at MTV. She's abandoned ship. And she's entrusted Bianca to be the new queen of all interns. So Bianca, who went to Boston College, and she's going to be a
counselor.
No. Counselor in the area of entertainment.
Yes.
Right, exactly. All right, so Counselor Bianca's getting the phone. In the meantime, the rest of us are hanging on to the side of the boat for dear life. Oh, please don't step on that cork in the middle. That'll let all the air out and everybody will discover us for who we are. Bunch of posers. In the meantime, everyone, don't forget, Wednesday night is the Wendy... Did you give her anal? Who passed me this?
I did.
I'm not asking him this. Take that back, you dummy. That's good. No pass. Give me that back. Give me that back. Sure. Why not? Jonathan's open. Yeah.
Let you know if you know certain things.
Well, not really, but it'll just give us a chance to say, oh. All right. So, It's the Wendy Williams Experience on 107.5 WBLS. Vaughn Harper's coming up with the Quiet Storm at 7 o'clock. Friday night, Lounge 42 is the place to be. I don't know exactly who was supposed to be hosting. Originally, it was supposed to be me, but I have to go to South Carolina on Friday because the Mother Nature turned the mother out this past Friday, and I was stuck in LaGuardia Airport like humana. I did nothing but cry because I disappointed a bunch of people in South Carolina. So I got to go down there. But then next Friday, I'll be at Lounge 42. This Friday, I have no idea who's hosting. Can I get a pass for today? I say all that to say, please.
You were starting to mention Wednesday. What happens on Wednesdays before you got cut off?
Comedy Experience.
There you go.
Okay. At Laugh Factory.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's what's really good. We eating fried chicken and champagne,
macaroni and cheese.
The boss is here at WBLS today for some damn reason. I don't know. You could ask the other radio stations. Made a full splash of food, and they're treating us like we're the queens, including Miss Audie. Oh boy, it's a good day to be here at WBLS. I can tell you that much. Listen. I appreciate you all listening today. If you missed earlier, we talked to the scorned lover of an R&B singer. You missed that? Okay. Hollywood will possibly have that for best of. Okay, best of. And right now we're speaking with Jonathan Plummer. He'll be in on the next break. He's been on the last two, so keep it here because we got one more nationally to go, and then Jonathan will be out, and then it'll be our turn with the bonus hour. The bonus hour is up at 6 o'clock on 107.5 WBLS.
Yo, did you catch this flashback? Wendy Williams and Young Dirty Bastard.
With all due respect, Miss Cherry, and there's plenty of women out there like that. You sound like one of those mothers who doesn't let your boy be a man and take on a new family. Because his new family, Miss Cherry, you lived here's his family.
Yeah, he has.
I'm talking about when Dirty was alive.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I understand Miss Cherry, kind of stepping up, but not really. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we just wish that she would be more of a grandmother to the children.
Kids,
she don't call them or anything.
Kids, how do you feel about Miss Cherry? Come on, Young Dirt. Young Dirt ready.
Yeah, Young Dirty definitely ready. And she's real stupid right now. Man, if she was right here, I'd beat this out of her.
Oh!
I'll tell you right there.
Your grandmother?
Yeah, my grandma. She ain't no grandma to me, so put it that way. Ooh. This is Young Dirt Dog talking.
Oh!
Get him.
Young Dirt Dog's no liar.
I guess they're going through their emotions, and this is how they feel. There's nothing that came from me. This is what she showed them.
Got him. This it right here. Miss a day, miss a whole lot. Coming through your speakers, boy. It's Wendy, man.
How you doing? All right. I want to thank my special guests who were part of the show today, including Nicole, the lover of the R&B singer, whose name shall be remaining anonymous from now until forever.
It's toasty.
it's the birthday show. Jonathan Plummer in the studio right now.
Thank you.
Soon to be ex-husband. When do you anticipate this going to trial? Have your attorneys given you any background information?
The judge made a date, October 17th and 18th.
Okay. So you have 2 days for which to prove your case.
Exactly.
What have you done in the McMillan household to warrant getting more than what the prenup asks for?
Well, the prenup, it says basically nothing. The only thing I get from the prenup is my car, and that's it.
Now, I had a chance to read these things on smokinggun.com.
Yes.
And she wants your citizenship to be revoked.
Ooh.
Now, after 6.5 years of marriage.
Well, the thing is this. Okay, first of all, when we met, I was 20. We got married when I was 24. So if my motive was my citizenship, I would have got married like a year or two later after we met. So, and the fact is, after we got married, I started filing 2 years later.
Filing
for my citizenship 2 years later. So that's the thing. So I mean, like, she's throwing everything from every different angle possible that, my motive was to get my citizenship. It was just a plus with the marriage, so I don't know why she's doing this. I guess she's doing it just to threaten me because she's calling she outed me to my family and my friends.
Well, didn't you out yourself because you announced to her when she asked for divorce that you were gay?
Yes, but the thing is this, she stripped me of my dignity by calling my family and letting them know that I'm gay.
What
and
your
my
parents
friends
say?
Well, right now, they're accepting the fact.
Me no want nobody, boy.
Exactly, basically. But they're coming around because, she's using my sister especially and my parents as ally, saying that, why is Jonathan doing this to me? I've been good to him over the years. So, and that's the thing. They have no idea what it's like living with her. This is normal for her. Her anger. That she's portraying to the world.
Was there a certain amount of anger that you discovered earlier in the relationship that that it wouldn't have had to last 6.5 years?
Well, the thing is this. You kind of grow accustomed to somebody over the years, and you just tolerate it.
Well, you were getting a substantial amount of money.
Well, not really.
Well, tell. No, he says no. It's silently.
But it's just like nobody knows what likes living with her. It's just this is normal. I guess like over the years you just tolerate certain things from your partner.
Like what?
Just how angry she can be at times when I do things. And sometimes when she's pissed off at me and I think I'm right, she just twists around and just makes it look like she's the one that's right. And why did I even think about doing it like that?
Hold on. 3, 2, 1, pose. Come here, Daily Challenge.
And then this way.
All right.
This
and
way.
one for the website.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
Where was I? Oh,
how you doing?
Well, sometimes she just asked me to put my feelings on paper, and I guess she's been keeping a paper trail up till this point, and she's saying I have all this information about you and all that kind of stuff. So,
all right. In a nutshell, we have a man who was married for 6.5 years.
Yes.
20 years old when you met her. You were unsure of your sexuality.
Exactly.
Have you ever had homosexual sex up till that point? Oh, the attorney. Okay, he's reverting. Okay, go ahead.
Up to what point?
20 years old.
Oh, no.
No.
Were you a virgin when you met Terry McMillan?
No. I've had sex with girls, but it's just, she was a woman and it was better,
She was wealthy.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't know who she was until I came to California. She came to Jamaica twice to see me.
I believe that.
And that's the thing. Authors aren't celebrated like they're celebrated here.
I believe that.
It's just like at the hotel, you just think it's just an average Joe. We don't go around, trying to solicit these women to sleep with them and then, come to the States. Sometimes.
However, since Stella, that has been like a cult phenomenon for American women to go over to islands and meet, young men and bring them back and make them our husbands.
Yes. The thing is this. It's a fairy tale for some people. And
20%, 30%, 50%. What do you want? What do you want?
It's just what's fair. Even with the 10%, even with the 10% of with Stella, that wasn't that I didn't. Excuse me, with the 10% of Stella, I didn't get the right amount for Stella.
How much did you get?
She gave me $150, which is public knowledge right now. So I'm not incriminating myself.
$150,000 on a multi-million-dollar.
Thank you.
Entity.
Thank you. Do you think it's fair?
Well, I'm not the one on trial.
I know.
Don't ask me. It's my birthday, okay? I'm like Sigram down.
But seriously, do you think that's fair?
Honestly, no.
Exactly. And that's the thing. People just think that I'm the one that is after her money, and I'm the one who's a fraudster, and she thinks that based on certain things that I should just get nothing.
Had you ever talked about children with Terry?
We talked about kids, but the possibilities are very slim.
Why?
Because the age difference.
What does that have to do with anything? I mean, at 43 years old, and she met you when she was 20.
I know.
At 43, women are still producing eggs.
That's true. I mean, if it happened, I mean, we came close at one point, and she had a miscarriage.
Oh.
So it was really sad at that time.
Oh. How long ago was that?
This was, I think like like 98, I think. 98, 99, something like that, around that time. So,
how is your relationship with her son Solomon? Does he love you? Does he like you? Does he hate you? Does he want to fight you?
At this point, I mean, we haven't spoken, and which is understanding. I mean, because the fact that with his mom and what's going on, he's definitely siding with her. So hopefully, I mean, he's a great kid. He's a really nice kid.
There's a new book coming out.
Yes.
Are you going to stake claims to any of this book?
No. No. I mean, the title is appropriate, with the book, but it's not really based on us.
Revisit, because your story has taken precedence to this book.
Yes.
What is the story?
The interruption of everything.
Yes.
Which is definitely what's going on with their lives right now.
If she does a book after this about you all's life, would you want to stake claim?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
I think I should be entitled to that.
Will you be looking for your own book deal to write a book about this entire situation?
If the opportunity presents itself, I definitely will.
Shout out to my publishers, Random House Books.
I will. I mean, why not? I mean, people want to hear my side. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not going out there trying to make a book, but at this point right now, I'm starting over. I'm starting with a clean slate. Any kind of opportunity, I'll be willing to go for it.
And you want to stay in this country?
I definitely want to stay in this country.
With your citizenship.
Exactly. I'm an American, and I've earned it. And I don't think it's fair to take it away from me because
will you come back to this show?
I will.
Say how you doing.
How you doing?
All right.
I know you've been really great. I mean, there's before I came here, I had butterflies in my stomach, but now I feel really comfortable, and I'm glad that I did it.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Awesome.
Everyone, it is what it is. Jonathan Plummer, Terry McMillan's soon-to-be ex-husband. We'll talk more about that probably tomorrow. Thank you for being here for the birthday show.
And thanks for having me.
Shout out to everybody in South Carolina. I'll see you all on Friday. And everybody, I love you for listening today. And come back tomorrow if you please. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Peace party, people. See you later. I'm saying bye-bye.
Good night.
Program complete.
Okay, the phone lines are open. 866-GET-WENDY. Call now to be on the radio. The bonus hour is next. Thank you.
I'm Imhotep Gary Bird, extending a personal invitation for all of you in the tri-state to join me on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. for our weekly call.
Since you've been listening this far, we're going to throw in a little bonus hour. You ready?
How long is this bonus hour going to last? I'm getting addicted.
No, let me tell you. I love this extra hour.
Everything is organic here on the bonus hour.
Yeah, baby. Hey, yo, check this out. It's Wendy, man. Here it is. It's the bonus hour on the Wendy Williams Experience.
107.5 WBLS, New York.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Every once in a while, we need a little cushion, which we call the song to take us from 0:00 till something after. While we get our little cushion on. For me, I was saying goodbye to Jonathan. For Art, he was apparently heating up something black. It smells real Negroid in here. What is that?
Trev Hollywood's macaroni and cheese.
All right. Trev Hollywood cooks like
somebody's grandmother.
Okay, I'm glad you said it because I didn't want to. He gets all violent. He cooks like a grandmother who's at least 85. You cook wonderfully.
Thanks.
Yes, you and Zoe both. Thank you. Thank you for bringing in the birthday buffet. Scott!
Oh.
Nice. That's right.
Have you had any of our Negroidian buffet?
Oh.
It rocked.
Okay.
It rocked.
All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm not looking for happy birthdays and all that other kind of stuff, but I feel as though I got to make some kind of excuse. Today is my damn birthday. Today is the actual birthday. And I was out in Las Vegas this weekend, and I must say that it didn't compare to the time that we're having here together. Well, don't cry for me, Argentina. I was not the promoter. We flew JetBlue. They announced it on this loudspeaker. Happy birthday. There were some growing up Gotti boys on the flight going out. Hey, oh, how you doing, Wendy? And a whole bunch of other people in between. Old, young, black, white, Indian, Puerto Rican. You know, I just appreciate everybody for listening to the Wendy Williams Experience. Really, I do. My son, you know, our son is only 4 years old, you know? Yeah, he weighs 98 pounds. Please don't call Jerry Springer or Dyfus. I swear he balances the meat on his bones. But you know, he's like, Mommy, you're not going to dress in a princess dress and, you know, company and all that. I was like, honey, listen, if you and Daddy give me kisses and hugs all day long, I appreciate that. I am a woman of a certain age, and it's been years since I've cared about diamonds, furs, and all that other kind of crap that birthdays sometimes bring in. You know, I appreciate having you all here and having my little radio show and, you know, my little family and, you know, all that other kind of stuff. And I'm not going to get all rosy. Because I could if you let me.
Uh-oh.
I've shed enough tears around this place for raises for the next 10 years. All right. What is this?
I just cups.
I can't take any more champagne, please. Please. I can't take another damn bottle.
Well, yeah.
Shout out to Seagram's Gin and Juice. Shout out to...
Come help me with this bottle.
You know, Audie doesn't need any more champagne. Hello.
Hello, Wendy.
Hi.
Happy birthday, Wendy.
Thank you.
Hello.
So who's this? Hello.
Hello, Wendy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Happy birthday, Wendy.
Thank you.
You're doing. I love you so much.
Thank you.
This is Kyle from Spanish Harlem.
Thank you for calling.
Tell Miss Arnie I said do it you how.
How you doing?
Backwards, baby. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
What?
Damn. Hello?
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
Please don't put me on the air.
Well, no, you are.
I am.
Don't say your name.
Okay. I'm calling from South Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening to you on the internet. But I was calling about your call from that person, Nicole in Chicago.
Okay.
Wendy, I have a story, and I swear to God, I'm thinking this might be the same person, but I don't want to say his name.
Do not say his name.
Okay.
Okay.
A friend of mine, she's a groupie, but she has a PhD in psychology. She's, like, really smart, but she's been with everybody. He had an album release party about 2 years ago, and we were in South Beach in Miami. And she met him, and to make a long story short, we went back to his hotel. She stayed, I left. He stayed for a couple of days. The final night that we were there, we were getting ready to go to the club again in South Beach.
Okay.
And she said, you know, the night before, she stayed there every night, and the night before, he was checking his voicemail, and she looked over and she saw the code to his voicemail. But this is the first time that they were, you know, he was in the shower, and me and her were alone. And Wendy, she called his voicemail. And there were two guys on there. One of them was from Chicago, and one of them was from California. And the guy from Chicago, he didn't sound feminine.
Right.
He was real masculine.
Right.
And he was just bugging about him not calling him back, and he's been trying to reach him for the last couple of days.
Well, we established that with Nicole. They were absolutely like a couple.
But Wendy, he didn't sound like a girl. It sounded like a guy. And Wendy, I swear I heard this with my own ears, and I was like, oh my God, no, he is not.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's the same person, because the one in Chicago, like I said, sounded like a guy, and then the one in California sounded like a girl.
Well, I can't say on the radio, but I will say that people like Nicole are not odd to this industry. Do you understand?
Oh, I was in so much. When she called, I was like, "Oh my God, it has to be her." And I'm thinking, and he said he was married at the time, but later on we found out that he wasn't married. He was married before.
Right.
He said that he was married at the time.
Okay.
So and another thing, he was telling us that he was on Aaliyah's record label.
All right. Well, thank you for calling. It's not a hard stretch to figure out probably who the R&B singer is that Nicole was involved with. But I do want to, reiterate that all other names, King of R&B, whatever.
Right.
We're not concentrating on that.
No, that's not.
We're concentrating on the lover at hand, a C-listed R&B singer. Okay?
And he is.
Yes.
He is.
Tall, dark, and C-list.
He is.
Okay.
He is.
Gotta go.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Love you, Wendy.
Okay.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, it's Wendy.
What's up, Wendy?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, God, a mess.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Listen, Wendy, in my opinion, that man is lying.
Okay, go ahead and say why. Jonathan Plummer.
Because I don't see how, at 20 years of age, he wouldn't know that he was How You Doing. Because someone would have told him, if anything. You know what I mean?
Well,
I don't know, Wendy. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
Here's the thing. In the West Indies, where I'm from, I'm from Barbados. Bati boys are a very, very segregated society.
Gotcha.
They are practically quarantined and left to themselves, which is not right.
No, it's not.
But he was probably trying to find the heterosexual way of life. You say what?
You know what? Everyone's different.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I don't know. And I've seen her on TV, the woman that he married. She's very attractive.
Yeah.
So I don't think she was desperate. Well, too desperate. I think she could have, I think she could have found someone her own age who, was stable and straight,
Yeah.
So I don't know, Wendy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put in my 2 cents.
I hear, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Wendy. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello. Hi, it's Wendy.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
How you doing? Long time I didn't hear from you. This is Slay Lady from Brooklyn.
Hey, Slay Lady.
What's up? I was listening to the whole conversation. I missed some of it because I had caught a flat tire to get it fixed.
Oh,
What's
damn.
up? But you know what? I'm about the story and everything like that. But I think that I don't believe the fact that he didn't know, though.
I find it hard to believe that he didn't know.
I find it very hard. And as far as like getting any of the money, what you think about that?
Well, I believe that he probably would get something outside of a prenuptial agreement because the prenup only gave him a car. That's it.
Right.
Slay.
And
go ahead.
I know, I'm going to tell you something right now. Who I believe, who that person was talking about, that transsexual, I believe is.
Shut up! I gotta go.
And you know what? I want to tell you this quickly. I had went to a service in Luther Vandross, right? That Erykah Badu is crazy.
Well,
I'm telling you, she performed at the Assembly Hall. Honey, she had this big wig on, and then she told that Ray Chu and the crew, they were trying to help her sing one of his songs. She told them to go down. She don't have no class, and she is crazy, Wendy. And I'm not going to hold you up, honey, because I do want to shout out, because I just retired,
Oh.
And I want to shout out my homegirl from Transparency, a.k.a. Pumpy. Okay, this is Sweetwater, a.k.a. the Slay Lady.
Thank you, Slay Lady. Bye-bye.
And I want to pick up Rikers Island, OPCC.
All right. From the Slay Lady. Shout out to Star. Star, I happen to have heard you this morning when you said happy birthday. So, with a bullet, I might add. What was that all about? He said, happy birthday. I was like, what the hell was that? But shout out to White Trash. Nick and Jessica at the ESPY Awards. A fake? Apparently. I mean, oh shoot. Somebody's having a birthday. Cups.
I'll take some.
All right. All right, here. Everybody, wait, hold on. Let me just take some and then pass it around. So it's time for me to go home. I don't need any more. I gotta read a bedtime story, don't you know? Don't stop because it can't stop. I've committed myself. Doggone it. Here. Pass that around. Here, the people at Air America sent a bottle of Hennessy.
Uh-oh.
Shout out to Ed. Thank you, Ed. The killer. The killer. There's this radio network in New York City. Maybe you're familiar, maybe you're not. It's Air America with Randy and Al Franken and stuff. There's this guy that works there. His name is Ed, and we always... Look, he says, all the best, Ed, the psycho of Air America. Signed the psycho.
He heard the show Friday.
You are the killer, Ed. You are the one employee who shows up all smiles, who will pull out a gun on all of us. Here, take this. Brown juice that. You can put that where? Way back there. Oh, my God. Can I tell you something? Am I wrong because I'm the wife? I love Jonathan Plummer.
Oh, yeah. That's my new friend.
I love him. Oh, Artie's looking all cynical like. Let me have a conversation with Artie. How you doing, Miss Honey?
How you doing, Miss Honey? What is your problem with Jonathan?
I have no problem with him, but I thought I was your friend. I thought Miss Artie was your friend.
Well, you are my everyday friend, but Miss Jonathan, he's the cat's meow. Oh, gotta go.
I just thought that Jonathan was, Terry McMillan, and shout out to you, Terry, the noted author and whatnot. You married him when you were 43 years old. Today I'm celebrating a birthday, getting closer to that, but not there yet. No. Let the record show. I still drop it like it's hot, all right? What? My son was like, does this make you an old lady? I said, no. He said, when you get old, you die. I said, no. Yeah, he's D-I-E along with O-L-D. I was like, oh, no. So there is something to be said, though, for having your kids when you're 18. I don't know what, but something. So anyway, I don't believe he needs to be exported.
No. You can't go back.
6.5 years.
Yeah. No.
Keep him in the Rolodex of the show.
Hanging. That's my friend.
Okay, mine too. I like him. And if you're just turning on the show, you missed Terry McMillan's soon-to-be ex-husband, Jonathan Plummer. I cannot go back. The most I can do is offer you a bonus hour, probably on Friday, because I'll be in South Carolina. Hollywood. You know what? Get the best bonus hour ready that you possibly can. Wow. Because I didn't realize I'd be missing planes this past Friday because of the storm and stuff. So now I have to go to South Carolina.
All right.
Okay? The whole show will be live except for the bonus hour. All right, on Friday. Also, earlier in the show, I was speaking with Nicole. Nicole is a transsexual. That means you don't have women's plumbing. You have men's plumbing, but you're living your life as a woman. Nicole is the lover of an R&B singer. she made a lot of Chicago references, but I just want to say that as obvious or whatever you people might feel it is, do not implicate R. Kelly in any way, shape, or form. This is not an R. Kelly thing. This is a C-listed R&B singer. Do you understand me? C-listed R&B singer. Nicole is the lover of. Excuse me, Zoe, the virgin, plied with Hennessy. Let's see how this all works out.
I'm sorry.
Zoe's having a good old time here on the Miss Wendy show today. She's over 21, but she's still a virgin. I told Zoe, here, take a few slugs of this. And she did, and this is what we have left. Oh, poor Zoe. Hey, you know what? If you go to the website at WendyWilliamsExperience.com, you'll see a contest with Seagram's. And the contest is of... Seagram's is doing a calendar for 2006. Right. And they're looking for a girl per month for the 2006. And I'm looking over the girls right now. How you doing?
Oh, let me see. I want to see them.
Here's Nancy Ann. She's a winner. Terry Kraft, Art, is a winner.
All right.
Nicole Lawrence, Trevor, is a winner.
Right now.
Oh, she can get it.
Layla Odoms is a winner.
Yeah, she's a winner.
She look half black, half Filipino.
Taisha Lindsay is a winner.
She's black too.
Art, look at Brianna.
Oh, yes.
These, I don't know who to pick.
This one right here.
I don't know who to pick.
Trevor likes the mixed.
Damn, they both do.
They have to be mixed for Trevor.
These girls are going to get an exotic photo shoot. LB, why do you look so much like Gabrielle Union?
Yes, she does look a lot like a fuller.
Look at Ella Baby.
Yeah.
She does look like it, yeah.
I got to tell you something. We got a really good listening audience. Really good looking women. Jeez, girls. This second string of girls, I mean, that first string, some of you all look like drag queens. This second string is coming through. You all are some thoroughbreds. I could drop you all off in Jay-Z's locker room and he'd be leaving Beyonce way behind. Look at Yassine.
Yeah.
Posing all luxurious like in her bathing suit.
Like, I got it.
Okay. Go to the website. Here, you can pass these off to Cynthia. Yeah. The WendyWilliamsExperience.com. If you would like to be a part of the Seagram's Gin and Juice Calendar Girl search of 2006, it's on the website right now. Oh, God. I'm not going out tonight. I'm totally not going out tonight. I'm rubbing my eyes. I'm behaving like a woman of a certain age. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for a healthy pelvic mammogram from last week. No cancer. You understand? You all know I go through. I go through my hypochondriac stages, particularly every 6 months. July, today's my actual birthday, and in January, I have huge physical workovers, huge things that I don't even need to go into. The doctors say, why are you doing this? And I say, because I am. Because I've got health insurance. Just work me over. Listen, I've been pregnant and successfully delivered at this particular, juncture in my life, but I've also been pregnant and then miscarried in September twice. There have been 2 Julys in the last 4 years, in the years past, that I've been pregnant and miscarried. So, what the hell? I'm just happy to be here and living it up with you all.
Will you look at Trevor?
He's got his shirt off.
Hot as hell in
standing here. A damn wife beater. Damn, that should be illegal.
Why?
Bally's 25 more reps. Oh, I can't take it.
She said 25 more reps.
Oh, remember I was telling you all that Arnold Schwarzenegger was the head of that magazine, that fitness magazine? He's stepping down. Apparently, what it is now, what's up? Can a player just keep in touch?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. No. Listen to Zoe. Zoe is done. Oh, man.
Did I tell you I went to a lesbian club Friday night?
Oh, wearing that white beater?
Yup. I took it off. I was dancing the whole night.
With the gay girls?
Yeah. I had a better time there than the regular spot.
Did you tell them that you were from the show?
They found out eventually.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we had a good time. They treated me good.
I got to tell you something. The Rainbow Coalition,
They love us.
they're all right with me.
I never meant to sound judgmental if I
No.
ever did.
No, well, you have.
I just don't understand some people's lifestyle. I had a good time though.
You might not understand, but it is what it is.
Toe is a toe?
A toe is a toe.
That's right. Embrace it.
Embrace.
Hold up.
Embrace.
Like, I don't know about the
Now let me hear you say how you doing.
I'm
There
doing
was a
fine.
14-pound baby girl born in Kentucky. This 14-pound baby, ladies, can you imagine pushing out a 14-pound something or another? Cesarean section doesn't make it sound any easier to me. But according to the National Center for Health and Statistics, less than 1% of babies weigh more than 11 pounds at birth. This woman gave birth cesarean in Kentucky to a 14-pound baby on Friday. She and the baby, known as the Big Enchilada, that's the baby's name, are doing fine. Okay, let's talk about Dave Chappelle.
Hey.
Well, how you doing? The Comedy Central president, Doug Herzog, has addressed the Dave Chappelle situation by saying, here's the quote, Art, the ball is in Dave's court. If you see him, tell him to phone home.
Oh.
End of quote. Wow. You know, that sounds like 40% love, 60%. You ain't nothing but a...
And a crazy one at that.
Yeah.
Wow. E.T. phone home.
I got to tell you something, Dave Chappelle.
Damn, look how time flies.
I know, it's already 6:30. It's time. We got one more break in the show.
You know, it's left till your birthday's over.
Zoe's just getting her groove on. Travis just taking off his shirt. And my mother has just dabbed the sweat off her 5'2" eyebrow, saying, I have a beautiful baby girl named Wendy.
Were you 14 pounds too? Oh.
No, I was light. I was like 7 pounds. I was born at like 8:30 at night. Yeah, it was like inconvenient for everybody as usual. Yeah, I think she might have taken a cab or something. I don't know.
In the middle of our TV show.
Yeah, it was some inconvenience. I don't remember exactly what my father says. My father is like the dateline for all births. You know, he could tell you. You were born at 8:32 during, Judd Hirsch's line on Taxi where he said da-da-da. And then we had to call the cab and, Oh, gosh. I got to tell you something. This day started out to be the day from hell. It was the weekend from hell. And I was just so happy to come here on the show and acknowledge nothing, if you know what I'm saying, but just be here, and now all of a sudden it's become like this bigger thing. Shout out to the 40th floor of WBLS. You know what the bigger thing is.
Uh-oh.
Shout out to Madison Avenue, New York City. You know what the bigger thing is. A shout out to Radio Everywhere. You know what the biggest thing is. For today, the truth has been spoken.
All right. Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say.
And you know this.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
All right, so look, this is where we need to probably take a break.
Why you taking your time? She chilling.
I don't know. You know, it's also cheesy. You know. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Vaughn is up with 7 o'clock with The Quiet Storm. We got one more break left of the show on the Wendy Williams Experience on 107.5 WBLS. Thanks.
Yo, did you catch this flashback?
I feel bad. I was cracking the whip on Zoe, and she was here till 4 o'clock in the morning.
She was? What was she doing here until 4 o'clock in the morning? Waiting for Steve Harvey? Who was she here with? She's an intern.
Taryn. Her and Taryn was here kind of late.
On that big, soft couch in our office. Oh.
I'm fine.
Thank you, Zoe. Did you have the radio on in that other room?
No. Were you guys talking about me?
But of course. We were talking about how you... Wait, hold on. Here comes Taryn.
Y'all talking about her too?
What were you girls doing here until 4 o'clock in the morning together? Hit the proper button. on that soft, luxurious couch.
We had some booze in the office, you know.
Well, no, you didn't, because Zoe is a virgin. But I know as a virgin, technically speaking, being that you can't penetrate, Taryn, she could still, you know what I'm saying? How you doing, girls? All right.
We were on a party.
But you were working it out, right, Trav?
Working for the
All
party.
right. I bet you were working and partying. All that brown juice and liquor at the bar in the office. Mm-hmm. All right. No, girls, I appreciate your hard work. I appreciate you all being able to be a part of the jokes here on the show as well. You're not offended, are you?
No.
All right. How you doing? All right. You say it, Zoe.
How you doing?
All right. And Terry, you say it. All right. There they go. Back to the office together.
Got him. This it right here. Miss a day, miss a whole lot. Coming through your speakers, boy. It's Wendy, man.
Yo, what's up? This is Junior Reed. What's you doing?
What you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yes, that was a good one.
How you doing?
Yes, that was good. That was good.
How you doing?
Oh, boy. Junior Reed, how you doing?
How you doing?
Thank you, Junior. Hi, everybody. I'm not a sentimental sap. But I gotta tell you, as birthdays go, you mother fathers have turned it out. Trev Hollywood has been cooking all night long. He made jerk chicken, macaroni and cheese, and spicy shrimp. And Zoe came through with the Johnny cake and whatnot. And you made the shrimp, Miss Wendy. Thank you, Zoe.
Shaylin cooked too.
Shaylin cooked too. Pasta salad. Everything was good. By the way, potato salad mixed with shredded carrots. I've never heard of that.
That was potato salad, cabbage and carrots.
That was delicious. Normally, it's like cabbage and collard greens.
Cabbage, I thought you said cabbage and cauliflower last time.
No.
You toasted into?
No. Well,
now I don't know which one is supposed to be.
Well, you know, whatever. A toe is a toe. Thank you for the food, you all. Thank you. Thank you. Ashanti, I don't know what to say. If we could possibly get Miss Artie in here to get on the website. Art! People's... Hi. Yeah, we got a lot of champagne. Just open that. Just here. Where's Art? Zoe, can you find Art, please?
He's in the bathroom, Miss Wendy.
Get him out of the bathroom. Art, Zoe, open the door. I need somebody to go to peoplesboard.com. There's a sex tape of Ashanti. Listen, I think that a lot of people are pegging Ashanti. I don't believe a sex tape. I find it hard to believe. I'm a mess. I should go home now. Are you here to drive me home? They're going to give me a car from the 40th floor. All right. Thank you. Art. Miss Art. Can you go to a website for me?
Oh, what's that one?
Peoplesboard.com. Ashanti sex tape.
Oh, got you.
Why are you walking out of the room? I don't believe this part. But what I do believe is there's a $4 million suit. And that's in the newspaper today. And I don't, it's very easy for people to say, you stole a song from me, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Listen, stranger things have happened. And I'm just waiting to see how this all unfolds. I mean, I don't know what to say. I can speak on two things, though. Number one, the R&B singer, the C-listed R&B singer that we talked about last week, whose lover called up earlier on the show today, who I believe has a story, and her name is Nicole. Number two is Jonathan Plummer. I swear, I thought today was going to be some big extravaganza where I was going to come in here with a full-blown ball gown and be escorted off to Nobu for dinner and all this other kind of fabulous stuff. Instead, I'm in my dirty Joe jeans and a damn wife beater and a Champion sweatshirt and hair that needs to be retwirled and makeup that is lackluster, and I'm going home in 15 minutes. How does this happen to me? Bunch of bosses walking around saying congratulations, but nobody pulling up the Brinks truck. And how come none of this champagne has any of their names on it? Well, keeps me humble. Happy birthday, girl. I love you. I think Jonathan is cute. Hook me up. Anything happen and Terry needs to get over it. Don't say that, Ruben. Ruben is a gay man. He's taking Jonathan's side. But, Ruben, it's not that easy for me. I take the side of a wife being the wife. But what I do believe that if Terry... Sorry, you all. I should have worn sneakers. I'm wearing my big shoes thinking I'd actually be going someplace. Instead, I'm going no place fast. Sorry. What I do believe, Ruben, is I do believe that Jonathan has a story to tell. And I believe that that story is based in truth, perhaps some non-truth, but something more than the prenuptial agreement that was originally set forth 6.5 years ago when they married, 10 years ago when they met. Now, I might be wrong for this one, but here I go.
You ain't driving home today.
Are the Suttons sending me a car?
Suttons is going home for the day, but I'm getting you a car, though.
I is this franchise player.
Uh-oh.
All right.
What's the website again? I want to go to it. What it was called?
The WendyWilliamsExperience.com?
No, the one with Ashanti's tape. Alleged tape.
Oh.
She is lit up.
I forgot.
She's been so
Peoplesboard.com. Go to that now. Girls, be his extra eyes, because Miss Artie has been 1 for 1 in me. Trying to play it off like he's somebody's boss. lousy weekend. I got to tell you all. Yeah, I had a lousy weekend. I spent a lot of time traveling around the country only to get no payoff. I didn't go to South Carolina because the weather was terrible. I got to the airport at LaGuardia. They were saying cancel and then cancel and then cancel and then cancel. Before I knew it, the cancels were so bad I could never get to South Carolina in time to party with everybody on Friday night. Then I get out to Vegas, and I swear I was met with a bunch of... Don't take this the wrong way. No. Bunch of crackers. Yo, they ran my bag. They patted down Miss Wendy's torso, ankles, waist, bra from my own party. They patted Miss Wendy down.
In South Carolina?
Like I was gonna bring in something, to blow up the place for my own party.
Vegas.
No, this is in Vegas after the fight.
Oh,
that's terrible.
Exactly. So I went through the pat down nation. You know what I'm saying? And I got up in the Aladdin. That's where the party was. And I looked down at everybody, and I was wishing people, as much as it was my party, I wanted everybody to come in, I was wishing everybody would stand their BLK-ness and just, you know what I'm saying? F that.